All right, ready?
I'd love for this all to be in the podcast too. Just anyways, let's go.
All right, 3,
Okay.
2, 1. And welcome back to Out of Your Mind.
Oh my god! Woohoo!
That's right. We are back after a couple months of hiatus. We have finally made it back into the studio. As you can see, everything's looking different. New equipment, new studio space. Our lovely new
But
producer,
same people,
Rose.
though. New producer.
New
Yeah.
producer, but yes, same people.
Same people.
Sorry, am I the producer for this podcast?
You're the producer of
Yeah.
all our podcasts from here on out.
Official
I'm
producer, yeah.
hired. Unpaid producer.
Yeah, we're paying you in peanuts and nickels.
water bottle.
That's it. Water bottle. There you
Future
go.
revenues, right?
Okay.
It's all the
Yeah.
potential for the
If
future.
okay, I'll take 10% of whatever you guys make it.
10% of zero is zero, so I'll take it.
Today we have Rose with us today. She is the producer, sometimes a director, and
I actually don't direct.
not as much anymore, but before, but producer now and part owner of the studio,
No, I'm actually the studio manager of this
studio
space.
manager.
Yeah,
Oh my
so
God.
we are at the Make the Film Studio in Toronto, located at 77 St. Clarence
Nice.
Avenue. So if you guys need a space to film and do your photography, you're welcome to come over
Or
here.
music. If you
Fabulous.
like music, there's a music studio
Yeah.
next door as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as well, yes.
So Rose, I'm gonna just tell you these mics are like really quiet, so you want to bring it up as close to your face as possible.
No problem.
And speak into it. But feel free to adjust as you like towards
no
whichever
problem.
direction you're going in.
Perfect.
But how have you been? How have you been, Rose? It's been a couple months for us here at Out of Your Mind. We've been dealing with a lot of stuff in the past couple months.
What have you been guys been doing?
So we launched our initial. We did like a soft launch back in, I want to say July, was it? June,
July,
June,
yeah.
July.
We bought these USB mics.
Yeah, so we're just starting out, and
yeah.
we were just super excited just to
To test
start.
it out.
Yeah, just start recording and just start producing content, and because we knew if we don't start something and don't do it, if we keep making excuses, it's never gonna get done.
That's it.
Okay.
So it was.
Okay, speaking of content, so what are we going to talk about today?
Oh, for us. Oh, we're talking about you today, Rose.
Oh, God. That's why I'm in this red chair.
That's why.
Exactly,
That's
that's why
it. You're in the guest of honor seat, the throne.
Yeah, Game of Thrones. Yes, of
Exactly.
course. Can't wait to talk about my life. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, no, like I feel like one of the things that me and Vipul talked about over the summer is we want to start getting people to think a little bit deeper. Because one of the things that we notice, at least in the city of Toronto, is people tend to just have very surface level conversations, and you don't get to think as much as you used to in like before, and people don't like to get into deep topics. And we also want to expose people to the people of Toronto that don't usually get exposure, right? You have music artists, you have all these big front facing people, but then people like you that are in the background don't get any notice or anything.
Right.
So we want to start.
Exactly. Not only just putting the people forward, but like their stories as well.
Yeah.
What you do, where you're from.
How'd you get
Okay.
here?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's all our goal is to just learn more about people, understand how we fit on this crazy little rock we call Earth.
Yeah, of course. Well, should I start with the day I was born, or
Exactly. Thank you. Now we're talking.
no? But like,
So let's. How'd you get into this business? How'd you get into
filmmaking.
filmmaking? Because I know I've known you for a while now, so I know you used to do some like director work and filmmaking and stuff like that. So how'd you get here? Where did it all start?
Wow, let me think.
Where did the passion?
Well, first of all, as you know, that from the accent, I'm from China.
Yes.
I would have
Yeah.
never guessed.
You
I
wouldn't
would have never
notice.
guessed.
Well, I actually left my country when I was 14, and I moved to Singapore. I stayed there for quite a while, 6 years, or
Right,
7 years
right.
around there. And then one day I just decided to, tell my parents like, oh, why don't you send me to Canada? I want to go study there because Singapore was so small and it's so hot. And then when I got here, it was like winter, and I immediately regretted it.
Right.
It was so cold
So-
here. I can't deal with the cold. I hate the cold.
I have
actually.
I have tons of friends from like the Middle East, and anytime they experience the first winter in Canada, they're like, how the hell do you do it?
It's absolutely nuts.
It's insane. It is.
I went from 30 because it's summers in New Zealand, and I went from 30 to -30 when I came here.
Oh my goodness.
Holy shit! I absolutely hated it. Plus, I didn't have a winter jacket, so I was like, "Holy fuck, I'm going back right now."
Oh, so we are allowed to swear here in this?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
as
I
you
hope so.
as you please, you're allowed to do
Settle
what you
over.
like. You know,
Okay,
we
yeah.
leave it open for you.
Luckily, my
You know.
parents don't speak English, so you're not gonna hear me swear. Like,
Yeah, my mom still gives me shit for cussing, and I try my best not to. But sorry, mom.
It's okay.
Disappointing your parents.
Yeah. So basically, when I moved to Canada, I studied high school, and one day there's this a group of filmmakers that came to my school and do a promotion,
Right.
and they promotion like to promote my high school, and they were looking for some. They were doing like the parody of Gangnam Style.
Oh, okay.
And they were looking for a leader, basically like gather a bunch of students to do the dance.
Right.
To do the dance, and they want to make a video, and I was involved into like, you know, I was helping them to find student and also like direct the student and teach them how to do the dance moves and all the stuff. I have, you know, I just basically gather like, you know, all these people together, and I realized I'm very good at, you know, sourcing.
Right.
And you know, basically what a producer would do is to source all kind of elements. You know, you find the crew, you know, and you basically find the location, and then and that was how it started. And I kind of, you know, really like doing all that stuff. And one day my teacher was like, maybe you should apply for a film school, and that's how I got to Sheridan College, and it was like a 3 years program.
Okay.
It's called Media Art Program, and once I finished my school, they actually stopped having that program anymore, and then the program is now a degree.
Okay.
It's called Bachelor of Film and Television, and then my parents is like, it's a shame that you don't get a degree, because we give you so much money to study abroad, and you don't get a degree, you have to get a degree. So I'm like, the program is like, you study 2 more years and you get a degree.
And did you?
I did. I actually
Okay.
continue. I got 2 years. So in total, film school was 5 years.
Holy.
Oh.
It's like a
damn.
long ass time, and to be honest.
But was it
It will-
when you were in film school? Was there a lot of just kind of studying like projects as well, or did you go do your own thing when you were in school as well? Like, did you record? Did you source people then as well?
The
or?
first 3 years is mostly like student projects.
Okay.
I didn't do much outside of school, but once I finished the 3 years program, I continued study that 2 years. And during the 2 years, I basically part-time school and part-time working in film industry. So like
Jeez.
a lot of students are like, they still doing the student thing, but I was already involved a lot, you know, doing my own thing outside
Right.
of school. And I was very lucky that actually I got to produce my first music video in Los Angeles
Nice.
when I was
Okay.
a student.
Wow. So they flew you to LA, or you flew yourself to LA? And
They flew me to LA. They paid
Okay.
for my flight. They paid for my Airbnb, and I went to LA and shot my first music video in LA, like
Oh
out
my
of the
God.
country.
Right.
And I was so happy because like all my classmates, they were like, "Oh my God, you fly to LA to produce your music video." It was like actually pretty good budget too. It was like a 20,000 Canadian music video.
Holy
I mean, you
shit.
guys can check it out. It's not like the best, but you can
I mean,
check it out.
it's on YouTube. A lot of your
It
stuff
is
is on
on
YouTube,
YouTube.
isn't it?
I think it's a couple million views.
Oh,
Hold on.
da-
Were
wait,
you
wait.
recorded?
So who'd you record on that? What was the music video like? Was it like someone big, or was it just like someone local from
I'm
LA?
not sure she's big or not.
Right.
Her name is what her name is? I fucking forgot.
Damn, I wish I had my phone so I could look it up right now. 1 million.
Oh my goodness! Can I just check it out
Yeah.
right now real quick? I forgot. Diamante. That's her name.
Diamante.
Diamante, and the music is called man. You know what? Now it sounds like I'm lying.
No,
No.
actually, I will stand behind you for sure. You were an Ellen as well, so you're one of those
Oh,
few
it's called
YouTube
Have
people.
Enough.
Actually, yeah. You are one of the few YouTube famous people I actually know, and I'm sitting in front of. Yeah, so it's.
I'm not
it's
even
really
on
cool.
YouTube. Yeah, I went to Los Angeles for the first time to shot the music video, and I had like the really bad experience, to be honest. Like it was so stressful.
Right.
I don't know nobody in LA. You know, I have to find a location. Luckily, the director, her name is Sophia Lane, and she also helped me to do all this stuff.
Right. So would you say that your time in film school helped you? Would you say those 5 years of being in film school is worth it then?
I hope nobody from my school see this video, to be honest.
Okay.
I think I should have just stopped there. I shouldn't continue to study that 2 years.
So after 3 years.
After 3 years, I was like, I got a diploma. I'm done. I'm out of school. To be honest, in film school, I don't think we should study that long. 2 years is good enough to get a hands-on. Of,
So what were the other 2 years even about, though? At the end, if the first 2 were the school projects, what were the last 2?
The last was more like a lot of essay writing, a lot of like film study, less of a hands-on. There's like different kind of filmmaking. Like, you can, the reason why I need to study to get the degree is mostly because of, my parents, they want me to get a degree, and also for my status in Canada, if the more the more school you go, you get more points,
Right.
that just just a process of getting my permanent residence faster. What was your question again?
My
last 2 years.
What were those last 2 years?
Last 2 years is basically paperwork. A lot of you get to learn a little bit of business of the filmmaking, which is very important. And I think I learned a lot from the class. Other than that, I feel like as a filmmaker, it's literally 60% of hardworking. And then 40% of your, being so, you have to be passionate about what you do, and also really out there to like sell yourself and tell this producer you're really down to work.
Right.
And also the truth about filmmaking is that you really have to work for free for the first couple months. I actually worked for free for like 6 months.
Jeez. But that's not fair then for people, because you're coming out of the school, you probably don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And now you got to work, because I know about some things about like film sets and like production and all that. Like those are long days. Those you can't
16 hours a day easily.
Yeah, you can't do a part-time job to make money in between then. So if you're doing that 5 days a week at least for free, then how'd you sustain yourself?
Well, honestly, like the first 6 months I was interning for a company, on a TV show. And because of I interned for this TV show, and that's how I get to know all these producers. And then you basically, once your contract is done, you really reach out to those producers and let them know, hey, would you please, if there's any opportunity, I would like to work for you. And that's how I got to where I am today, to, have manage my studio and also be producing my own contents. It's literally a lot of reaching out, and then, go out and have coffee with these people.
Right.
And then that's how you.
So it's a lot of networking.
It's a lot of networking, and also like I think you have to be really like outgoing. Because you work on set for 16 hours, you want to be pleasant. You want to be very 100%. Outgoing, be nice to people. Right. I know a lot of assholes out there.
There always
filmmaking
is.
on set, they're really not nice.
Right.
And these people, they don't really go far,
The
but I know there are real assholes. They're like up there, like the executive producer. I guess is for them it doesn't matter anymore.
I guess everyone is an asshole in some way or another.
Some way.
Every person is an asshole to some extent. I'm an asshole. Vip is an asshole. You're an asshole too, Rose. We're all assholes.
Once in a while.
To some extent, we're all assholes. But yeah, I get what you mean. Exactly what you mean. Like, you need to be a very personable person, and you want people to work with you. So, to any young, aspiring filmmakers and people that are trying to get into this, and maybe that are starting school, what would be your biggest piece of advice to them then?
If you really want to do film school, do like a 2 years program, not like a 3 years.
Right.
I think even this 1 year program.
Okay.
Like a lot of people, they like to hire like producers that hire you because you know you came out from film school, or even if you don't come out from film school, you start off being a production assistant,
Right.
and that's how you know. I think first step is to, if you decided not to go to a film school, you can just start off as a production assistant,
Right.
and then from the production assistant you kind of get to know all different departments,
Right.
how they function and how they work,
Right.
and then you can go from there.
Okay.
Like one day maybe you would be interested into like set design, and then you can just be the set design production assistant.
So,
you know?
so what's been the most exciting part for you in your whole both directing and producing careers?
I don't
thus
direct.
far? no, filmmaking. Your filmmaking
Filmmaking,
time.
okay.
Sorry, you've made some indie films.
I did
You-
one
you-
directing before, like a PSA.
Yeah, you've
Wasn't it like
done
a
you've done a
music
couple
video
things.
as well that you've done a couple times over
I
here?
produce. I
did?
mostly
Okay.
produce.
But
Right.
that wasn't directing.
No.
Okay.
No.
So in all your filmmaking time and all the things that you've done thus far, what's been your most favorite thing you've done?
My favorite.
Yeah, what have you like enjoyed the most?
Something that you remember.
Yeah, like that's like
I think what makes me keep going is literally the process of pre-production. I don't know, a lot of people don't like this process because pre-production is not easy. You basically, my job as a producer is like, you do a lot of like budgeting and scheduling, and then you get to you find your crew, and I think the best part is definitely when is problem solving.
right.
Let's say I have this location that is at the parking lot, and you have to really go out there, and it depends also, like when you have low budget,
Right.
and then you were able to use so limited amount of money to do something that's so impossible.
Right.
And I think that is very exciting for me. And I feel like, oh my God, I achieved something. Like I feel like I solved a problem. And I think problem solving is very exciting for me. And also working with people that you really enjoy working with. I think that's very fun on set. I'm a very easygoing when I'm on set. I like to have fun. I like to, joke around with people. But at the same time, you have to be, straight when things are
Right.
Like
going
getting shut
down.
down.
Right, 100%.
Okay, Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
you got to manage still, right?
And
Yeah.
you gotta, sometimes you have to kind of pull up like a poker face, just to look straight.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like
No,
it really depends.
but I totally get what you mean by the idea of like taking something so limited and trying to make something big out of it. Like look at what Paranormal Activity did. They took a $10,000 budget
Yes.
and the most basic, I think it was 10,000.
Was it really?
I'm pretty
it was
sure.
low.
I'm pretty sure. Like it was definitely under 50,000 total, but I think what I remember seeing was 10,000 back in the day, and they took the most basic of set, did the basic like they took the idea of the handheld camera idea and ran with it under 10 grand for a
Yeah.
whole movie that made millions.
That was nuts.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
horror films makes the most money in film industry. I would say.
Really?
Yeah.
No, like
Because
superhero.
it's so
comic
cheap
book-
to film.
Okay, yeah, okay.
But
Yeah.
like you can sell it for like
Right.
because horror is like all over the world. It's worldwide. Like scaring people is like
Yeah,
if-
I
you know,
can't relate. I don't
comedy
watch those
doesn't really sell all over the world
Yeah.
because United States comedy, a lot of like inside joke that the Chinese
Right.
people might not understand, and people
Get
in
your
India
mic. There we
probably
go.
don't
Yeah.
understand. It's jokes, like comedy. It's
Right.
hard to sell, but then horror is
But
easy
being
to sell.
scared is a universal thing. Okay.
Universal thing, exactly. That's the word.
That does make sense. Fear goes across all boards.
Sure.
So does comedy, but everyone's version of what's funny is
Yeah.
different. Not
Exactly.
everyone's gonna think Seth Rogen is funny or
Yeah, exactly.
I love you, Seth.
But each country has yeah.
Oh my god, I love comedy though. Like
Of course, yeah.
But when I got to Canada, I do not understand comedy. Like sarcastic jokes, for me, I don't get it.
Really? Okay.
I feel like
So like that dry humor kind of stuff you don't like?
I mean now I do.
Okay.
Now I get it.
Right.
Now I
You're
enjoy
Canadian
it.
now.
I'm
Okay.
I feel like I'm very whitewashed now. That like I mean I shouldn't say that, but I feel like I blend in. Finally, that like after 7 years I've been in Canada,
Right.
like now I love like so many comedians like on
Right.
Netflix. Let's say Kevin Hart, like 7 years ago, if you asked me to watch Kevin Hart, I would never understand his joke.
Right.
Like, why is this funny? But like, you know,
Right.
now I get to like, I think language barrier was the biggest
Now you're part of
problem
the culture
before.
as
Now,
Right.
now I get to like understand so much. And then,
And that's I feel sympathy for people that are new to the country, because it's so hard to like just if you're not used to the language or the culture.
Isn't it so weird?
It's really hard
you
to
don't belong
integrate.
to your own country where you left.
mm-hmm.
No longer, because you're no longer there.
Right.
At the same time, you don't belong to your new country either, and that's a.
Well, you don't lose that connection. I wouldn't say you lose that home
I don't say
country
you lose
connection.
it. It's just that initial part where you just kind of feel like I don't really know where I am.
Sure.
kind of
Yeah.
phase.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's good on you for kind of adjusting as well.
Well, it was difficult at first. Like
Right.
language barrier was so. I was bullied quite a lot first year of college. Actually, like people were laughing at my accent. People like were laughing at how I pronounce certain words.
Which is surprising.
And I was actually skip class a lot too. I like smoke weed first year of college, because that's how what you like. I never
Right.
like
Right.
experienced all that stuff until I got into like Sheridan, and then Sheridan first year was like I have no Asian classmate in my first year.
Which is crazy.
Maybe one or two,
'Cause-
but they're not like from China or like,
Right.
from another country.
But see, like, because I've done like French classes at Sheridan, right? After
Yeah.
I graduated, I wanted to keep learning French, so I did classes there. But there were so many people from all different kinds of backgrounds and cultures, people that were immigrants to the country that didn't have full English, and I'm surprised that people make fun of your accent. Well, I'm not surprised because people are assholes, but
There are lots of assholes.
but I'm surprised that like in a school setting that like at that age people are still making fun of accents, thinking it's funny, because I don't get it. You know,
know,
especially if
it
you're
is
in
weird.
Toronto, like there's people of all backgrounds. Like, what are you making fun of?
You know the funny thing is, like when I speak English, I don't think I have accent, but people tell me that I have
Right.
accent. But I know people when they hear my accent when I talk, but when I talk, I don't get it. Like I don't
Right.
hear it. Like I think I speak perfectly fine.
You speak good English. You speak
Yeah.
great English. You like
Thank you.
like yeah. Like I'm pretty sure I have like some sort of accent, whether it's not Indian accent, but I have an Anglo accent,
yeah.
right? Vipul has an accent. You know, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
even with the accent, your
You don't
English
notice,
is, you're,
but
yeah.
I notice.
You notice an
Yeah.
accent
It's
on
the
me?
same thing. Like
Right.
I don't notice myself have accent,
Right.
but you notice.
Yeah.
You know? Like yes,
That's
you
why
as
every
well.
time I talk to people, I'm like, you guys have accent, I don't.
You can just blame on people. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
their problem.
Oh,
It's just kind of
shucks.
common. Like every time someone speaks English that is different to yours, you're like, oh my fucking god, not again. I can't deal with that, because sometimes like it's just any particular word that you pronounce.
Right.
But it's a weird thing. It's just kind of built in as well.
Right.
Sometimes I'm just kind of forced to correct people, even though I shouldn't.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
How was the adjustment for you when you came? Because you
Yeah.
came. It's been
2 years now.
it's 2 years.
Yeah,
I thought it was
it's been 2
5
years.
for some
That's
reason.
crazy.
I know.
Has it
been
only?
2 years.
It's only been 2 years, man.
Holy damn! So when we met, how long were you?
When we met,
Because we met in 2019. No,
18.
18.
A year ago we met.
Summer. Yeah, April 2018.
Yeah. So at that point, I had been there. I'd been there 11 months.
Really?
Yeah. So I came in May.
Right.
April 11, right? Yeah, April, May. Yeah, that's just
Yeah,
how
yeah,
it goes.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So and now just 2.5, I would say. Yeah.
Jeez. And so how was the adjustment for you, like culturally and
Culturally, it was.
language?
Yeah, it was just so weird. But at the same time, New Zealand to Canada, it's probably one of the most easiest.
Right.
Transitions
It is
you could
an
have.
easier transition.
But I felt like the Vancouver Canadians
Right.
and the New Zealand people, that is something I could relate to. But Toronto is just a whole different city. Like it's a whole different vibe. Because like you said, it's different cultures.
Right.
And there's so many cultures I'm not used to. New Zealand only has 4 million people.
Right.
Toronto has 4 million people. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Right.
yeah, I just felt like, the pig in the big city kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's just, yeah.
What do you guys have in New Zealand, like food wise? Like just fish and chicks?
Fish and chips.
Fish and
yeah.
chips.
Fish and
No, I'm
that's all you
sure.
eat?
I'm sure that they have more than fish and
Yeah,
chips.
yeah.
Rose.
We do.
They probably have like some bad Thai food there.
Actually, you know what? Asian food is like Thai food
Mhm.
and Indian food are the top two
Wow.
cuisines over there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I guess there's a huge cultural influence from them, right? Is there a big Indian in?
No, Indian because of the English.
Okay, naturally.
Right.
Right. Okay.
And Thai and Chinese cuisine because a lot of people from China and Thailand.
So there's a large population of like
Mhm.
Thai and Chinese.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the food is actually pretty good over there. And it's so funny. I feel like New Zealand food scene is so much better than Toronto.
Oh
Don't-
my
don't-
god!
don't you
I-
ever
I
say
cannot
that.
I'm
do
sorry.
You
I
have
just
not
cannot
eaten good
believe
food.
it.
Please.
But
Just
also,
had to
New
say.
Zealand is almost like a wonderland that no one really knows about too much
Exactly.
about it.
Yeah,
that's very
I'd
true.
like to
Just
explore more.
Lord of the Rings.
Maybe we
man.
should have
That's
an
all,
episode.
That's all I see is Lord of the Rings. I'm like, wow.
We should have an episode about just talking about New Zealand.
We could.
We should.
We should. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
a
would be
throw,
fun.
a
Because
throwback,
I know
throwback
nothing
to
about
home.
New
Throwback,
Zealand,
I'm
to
just
be
gonna catch a
honest.
flight and go there right now.
Yeah.
We'll do a film shoot there. Why
Yeah.
not, man?
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Yeah, but no, food is actually really good over there. Like fine dining,
Right.
I don't. There's a lot of that on King Street over here,
Right.
but it's just there's not. Then again, it's so weird though that Toronto is actually so big as a city, and I've only seen a little part of it.
Right.
I mean, when New Zealand, like Auckland, where I'm from, it's not really that big of a city, but there's fine dining places everywhere. So that's just kind of how I feel. Yeah.
Okay.
Also,
Nice.
New
Yeah.
Zealand's a new country, right? It's almost like Australia. It's also very new. Is it how
I think they're all kind of same, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
Canada.
You could say Canada's
yeah.
a fairly new. Well,
Yeah.
Canada is a fairly new
yeah,
country.
couple hundred years.
1873
Canada.
1873?
or 1876. Oh God, everyone's. I feel like an idiot, but around there, 1873, 1876.
Well, a new country
Around
usually the food scene is very, very what to say? It's like the food, like let's say in Canada, what Canadian food do we have?
Well, okay,
Poutine. That's
okay.
it.
Poutine
like
is-
what else?
Okay, yes, okay,
Poutine is good. That's
It's like
all I'm
shepherd's
gonna say.
pie.
okay. No,
Yeah.
no. Shepherd's pie is English. So you got poutine, of course. You've
Actually,
got
in Quebec,
Yeah, even more. It's
they
thinking
call
like,
Chinese pie.
Chinese pie.
Shepherd's pie. They call them Chinois, like
Chinois-
Chinese
Chinois-
pie.
Really?
That's what I heard from a friend.
I did not know that. But we have poutine.
Yeah.
We have the fun invention of putting hot maple syrup on
Oh.
snow.
The
No.
camera just stopped.
All right,
Okay,
let's
let's try
I should
again.
just go restart.
Yes.
Oh, that's
you can
fine.
do that.
But we also have the maple syrup, right? We have like where you put it on cold ice
Okay.
and you roll it up into a lollipop.
What? I've never had.
Have you never seen that?
No.
It's a big thing in like the winter here. Like you'll see like it's like a slab of ice they have it on, and they'll pour hot like I don't know if it's hot maple syrup. I'm pretty sure it's hot maple syrup, and then it cools down
Mhm.
and crystallizes on the onto the ice, and then they just roll it up.
Can I get that at Beaver Tail or whatever that place? is?
Beaver Tails is also Canadian.
Beaver Tail. Yeah. That.
Yes.
See that one.
Really?
And
It
put-
is Canadian.
What
yes.
is?
Okay, yeah.
What's that one thing they have like the syrupy like donut kind of thingies? So good. It is so good. I've tried it once, and it's that I would give it to you. That
Right.
and poutine. That's all Canada has, unfortunately.
Cold, man.
A country like so
Which one is-
new that we don't really have like traditional food. We have a friend coming.
Oh, we have Michael popping up already.
Oh my
Okay.
god.
So that's good. We are on 28 minutes.
We'll
Are
shoot
we?
another 5-10 minutes here. We'll wrap you up here. But
That
Okay.
was
Sounds
so
good.
quick.
it was this is gonna be this has been a very quick episode for this one. But so, what do you have coming in the pipeline for you now with the studio? You're running this all the time now at this is Make the Film Studio, correct?
Yes.
So what do you have going on?
Right now, we are looking to produce our own content.
Right.
We are looking for people who submit their script to us.
Right.
So we're hoping to produce their short films or even feature films
Right.
or anything that we can film here in this studio.
You guys have had some big names pop up here too, right? Was it Big Sean that came that one time?
Yeah, Sean
Oh,
Paul.
Sean Paul. It
was
was
here.
Sean Paul that was here.
Sean Paul was here.
Weekend-
They
we-
shot a music video
Yeah, Weekend was next door as well in the
long time ago.
What was it, a long time ago?
Yeah, it was so long time ago. It was like a couple years ago.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, they have like a whole place to booked. The
Oh,
whole
okay. Yeah, I
studio
would
booked.
bet it's the Weekend.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
think
was
he
a
was
Weekend.
just touring around.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know.
And I've seen you've done a couple car commercials here and
Yeah, we do a
different
lot
things
of
like
car
that.
commercial, So this is a drive-in studio. You
Right.
can just drive through this garage, and
Right.
then, but not many people know about. So this
Well-
is great.
Well, hopefully we get the
Yeah.
word out and people that are interested
Yeah.
Get in contact with you.
I
Yeah,
hope
and
so.
people who are students or like you
Oh,
And,
we actually
yeah.
do offer student discounts for people who wants to film their interviews here.
That's
Nice.
amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you guys are welcome. We have 15% discount for students.
Holy
I
shit.
love
Give me
that.
your student ID.
you've
Oh,
heard-
you're a student now, right?
I am a
Okay, I'm
student.
not charging you today.
Perfect. I love it.
Which the 10% we're supposed to give you and the 15% discount that we get. That
Yeah.
ties
Hey,
up,
it balances all out.
Perfect.
I like
There we
those
go.
doesn't
numbers.
it? All right, Rose
Uh,
and Joakim
oh,
are free again.
Well, thank you so much, Rose, for joining us on this relaunch episode. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
And we'll see you all for the next one.